Hello everyone, this is the Backbase webinar series and we're here together with Amir Tabakovic to talk about can a bank disrupt the retail industry? So the keynote for today is indeed by Amir. Amir works at PostFinance and is also part of the Mobi Forum. And with PostFinance, they did something very, very great in the mobile channel that he's going to share with us today in this webinar. This keynote will take 30 to 40 minutes, and after that we have a 15-minute presentation by Jouk Pleiter, CEO and co-founder at Backbase, and he will talk about empowering disruption in banking. And of course, there is room for a Q&A, so you can use the panel, the GoToWebinar panel you have on the right-hand side of your screen, and there you have a questions box where you can ask the questions you'd like to ask to either Amir or Jouk. And after this webinar, we'll do a short Q&A live here in the webinar where we'll answer and ask those questions to the both speakers.
It's great to be here as a part of this webinar. I personally know Elmer and Jouk for many years. It's always interesting to exchange experiences with them in the area of digital banking. Today I will talk about disruption of the retail industry, and the statement sounds pretty bold, but in the next 30 minutes I will try to share with you our story, how we focused on a specific area of goods and became merchant, although we are actually a bank. Just as a very brief introduction of PostFinance, because it's important to understand our role in the PostFinance in Swiss market, I will share a few facts about us. We evolved from payment service provider to fully fledged retail financial institute, and we can say that we are one of the three biggest retail banks in Switzerland. The digital banking is actually within our DNA. We try always to be a first mover in the market, and I think one of the good examples is our online banking, a PFM, and actually we are number one in the number of downloaded mobile banking apps in Switzerland. So, talking about digital goods, I think first of all we have to admit that we witnessed a radical change in our own behavior when it comes to media like music, movies, books, and games. And it is a mass phenomenon. That means it's all as well in actually concerning my mother-in-law or my kid. And to understand this phenomenon, I think we have to go back some 11 years from now. Normally, everybody's talking about 2007 and launch of iPhone. But I think more important moment in history was the launch of iTunes in April 2003. Actually, with this moment, Apple succeeded to launch a platform which then in the next 10 years not only radically changed the music industry, but as well other media industries, and they became the world's biggest distributor of this digital content. And why is this important? Because we're talking about digital goods, and we have to understand the mechanics of this. Actually, the digital goods are intangible goods that exist in digital form. I don't have to describe them anymore any further. The interesting thing about them are the high margins behind them, because they have the fixed first copy costs, and then the variable costs are pretty low due to the specific distributions over internet. And due to the digitalization and the whole digital revolution, we face huge market growth, which actually because we are changing the way we are actually consuming those goods. We as well have to understand the history. In 2002, 2003, when iTunes started, the distribution of digital goods was led by MNOs. You all remember the ringtones and wallpapers for download. But in the meantime, there was a shift, and now we have to say that the most of the digital goods are distributed via marketplaces, app stores, and streaming platforms. From the perspective of a bank, I think we have as well to take a look of payment methods which are used in the combination with digital goods. Again, the old school distribution was actually going in the direction of mobile phone bill, so carrier billing or some offers included in hardware price. But there is a clear shift right now to online payment methods, and I think it's still relevant for a relevant segment of the market are prepaid cards and gift cards in this area. I don't want to spend too much time on this graphic. It just highlights that this huge growth in the market in different area of digital goods. And we can as well state that we are talking about billions of dollars market. And these are only the EMEA numbers. So who are the players in the digital goods market? When we say marketplaces, we mean iTunes, Google Play, which are very dominant players. Then we see lately streaming platforms coming up. We have well-established gaming console platforms like Xbox, Nintendo, or Sony PlayStation, and so on and so on. What do I mean with the cash to online players? Cash is still very present in our ecosystem, and there are some players in the market who offer a possibility to use kind of cash in online payment with their specific prepaid products. I think perhaps you're familiar with players in Europe. We have UCash or paysafecards. So let's focus on distribution of gift cards, which is one relevant part of this digital goods market. Who are the classic retailers? We see retail stores, kiosks, ticketing machines. These are pictures made by me 2 days ago in Switzerland. Now let's make a step to PostFinance and see what is actually our history of as a retailer of digital goods. In around the same time as Apple launched iTunes, we started already a cooperation. We started cooperation with the biggest Swiss MNO in distribution of prepaid airtime. So we offered top up via ATM. This was a small step for us, but it was important for us to see that there is a potential there. And this area of business evolved over time. On one hand, we extended the number of offers or of the partners, covering almost all MNOs and MVNOs in the Swiss market. And we tried as well to extend the channels, the digital channels, bringing up SMS functionality in 2009, and then the airtime top-up functionality in the mobile apps in 2011. So at that point of time in 2011, there was this moment where we decided to make first conclusions, because meanwhile the whole world of digital goods was about to change. What we knew for sure is that top-up of third-party prepaid accounts worked, and we saw the shift, and we knew that there is a world behind or aside of MNO ecosystem. So we started with the phase 2, and what you see here is actually the photo of two of my colleagues, which are at the Gamescom in Köln, which is if not the biggest gaming exhibition in the world. And I think this photo highlights the importance of the mind shift, especially if you're a bank. Just imagine those two guys moving freely in the business area of this exhibition, and when they introduced themselves to different players in the gaming area, and they said they're coming from the retail bank, the people were astonished and had no idea, what is the business case behind. So what is the business case there? First of all, in 2011 we made analysis of digital goods market. It was important for us to understand how it works, who are the players, what are the payment methods, where will the journey go, and we had to focus. We didn't want to focus on everything, so we focused on digital goods and specifically on gift cards for the start. The biggest challenge in the beginning was to explain what is behind this role. Although, or despite the fact that we looked back on the history of selling airtime for years, it was important to explain to our important stakeholder that we are not going to damage our brand. We are not going to become a kiosk. So we had to explain them what are the digital goods, why we are not planning to sell any physical goods like socks or dog food. And this was a very important process in the whole in this next step. And then, in the moment that we had the decision to proceed, again, it was important for us to change the mindset of the company, of the people who were about to work in this area. So it was about to make some changes in the organization. Before that, each product had the relationship with external partners, so we tried to centralize this. We had to explain to our communication department what is important to know if you play the role of the merchant and not of the retail bank if you're communicating to your customers. And we had to gather the right team to implement the right structure. One thing that helps is if there is a clear payoff for the bank, and there is one. So I will try to explain you how this works. So let's take an in-store debit card payment. If we are blessed that our customer is paying with our debit card, we will for sure we will get a payment fee on the purchase of the gift card for digital goods, and the retailer will get the biggest part of the cake. In online shop is the situation almost similar, just the payment fee is a little bit higher for us. We can say the worst example would be that our customer goes to ATM, makes a withdrawal, which costs us actually money, and then purchase a digital good gift card. So what is the solution? Actually, by offering an in-app sale, focusing on the mobile channel, we are able to get not only the payment fee, but as well the entire retail margin, and offer a great service to our customer. So that was at the point when we defined our value proposition, and this was actually to offer to our customers the easiest way to buy a gift card in the market. We knew exactly that many of our customers are happy to use their credit card as a payment method, but there was as well a very important segment which still hesitated to do it and used the classical retailers to get their gift cards. So we offered the seamless digital shopping experience, and we had something to offer in this high margin and high growth niche. for our partners, there are many advantages actually. The one is our huge customer base, and I will come to that later. We have processes in place because we offer customer service 24/7. We offer to our partner as well some cost saving because we are about to digitize the plastic gift card. And we have as well an innovative image in Swiss market, which as well works for a partner. On the other side, our customers were happy to get the easiest way to buy this product, the best way actually in the world so far. So what is our communication power? We, as already mentioned, 500,000 apps in Switzerland with the population of 7.5 million. We have 1.5 million online customers and 3 million, so our entire customer base, which are using ATMs. We are as well very strong in youth and students area or segment. The challenge was to find the right solution how to digitize gift cards, and mobile was our first choice. So on the photo you see alternative way how to get the gift card code in with the help of your mobile. We tried to find another way. Just as a hint, iPhone 5S is really good to remove this cover because of the sharp edges. But what was the solution? I will show you just a video. I hope you can see it right now. If not, Yelmer, just say how this works for us. So we were the first. We were blessed that our first partner was Apple with iTunes, and we succeeded within 3 months to make this thing running in our mobile app, which was really a great story for us. So as you see, we eliminate the plastic card while we are offering this in this area that we call fast services. Fast services have limited functionality and some daily limits, but they are very good accessible with a fixed password. So you choose a product like iTunes, you have to agree with the terms and conditions, and then you select one of the vouchers. With one click, you made the purchase. And now the magic, you can redeem it with one click, which is a service that we actually implemented together with Apple directly, because in this moment, this app is our web service is open in iTunes, and you can redeem the voucher. So I don't want to bother you because with the technical stuff, I will just show you how the simplified process, how this works. So the customer starts the process via mobile app, and then it goes via our system to technical integrator, which actually receive certain amount of digitalized gift cards and is able to provide us with the codes in real time. And we then actually provide this code back, or we give it to our customer in the real time, which is really nice. So our first customer was Apple, iTunes, and we run a huge campaign in Switzerland. We involved different media and were able to get great feedback and echo on this campaign. And it was a really great start as well for our sales with this promotion, which offered a gift card in the value of 50 for just 30 Swiss francs. But this is not the end of the story. We continue to do promotion as well for other partners. You see Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox promotion. We try to reach our young customers which are interested in the games, console games. So where are we right now in the moment? And you don't see all the time top-ups here, although they belong to the same area of digital goods for us. You see other partners that we have, and you see that the app is a dominant, or the mobile channel is the dominant one for us. Nevertheless, we want to reach as well the 3 million customers we have, which are using our ATM, and that's why we are integrating the service as well in our ATMs. And it's just a question of weeks when we will as well integrate Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo in our ATM. We are proud to say that we look back on 500,000 purchases of different gift card units in 2013, which is a great number for us. But this is not end of the story, and it's not only about sales. It's not only about your role as a merchant in the ecosystem. It's as well, this provides you with a great opportunity to improve your relationship with your customers, especially the young one. And what you can do is actually you can give your customer a song or an app as a gift for free. Most probably some of you are familiar, especially if you're in the US, with the Starbucks Pick of the Week. This is actually a nice way to deepen the relationship with your customer, because you can, within Starbucks, you can get this paper voucher to redeem a song or an app from iTunes, but as well from other marketplaces. This is nice, but the process is kind of paper to digital. And what we came up was actually the seamless digital process. The same story, collaboration with a music label, with Sony Music and the Swiss artist Mark Sway. And we just gave our customers one of his songs for free within our mobile app. I think this is a very interesting form of brand marketing for banks. If you already have these capabilities, you could run the whole program around this. And this is how it goes. So you see it as a seamless process. You will find your song at the same place where you normally buy your gift cards. This is as well good for cross-selling and improves our sales as well. And you then get the specific code that you can then automatically redeem in iTunes. And within seconds, you can play the song. So coming to conclusion, I think we have to be aware of the fact that the digital goods is, especially for banks, still a small market, but with a high growth and high margin. It is a niche, but it is a very interesting one. Our advantages are huge customer base and the ability to reach our customer on the digital via digital channels. And the very important aspect of our relationship is trust. So yes, perhaps there are other players in the market who could offer the similar service. And it's not only about the fact that we are controlling the payments within our secure environment. It's really about the relationship, existing relationship with our customers and the trust which is behind. I think one important thought is that if you improve a process, and we are kind of trying to disrupt the existing purchase process in this area, you have to have a benefit which is big enough and relevant enough to reach the mass market. And I think with this, with our functionality, we succeeded to do this. And our growth figures are proving that. Still, there are some challenges there as well. I think one of the most important one is how you will manage to change the mindset within the bank, because all of a sudden you're you're not offering the same type of the products and services. You're now in the role of the merchant, and this is a different game. But as well, as mentioned in my previous two slides, it's not only about revenues, it's about relationship with the customer. And those kind of content, of digital content, is as well something that could play a relevant role in the future, and actually improves your relationship with the customer. We are happy to say, or to announce, that we are one of the finalists of Global Banking Innovation Award this year with our business case on digital goods. So I hope I will be able to update you within 3 weeks if we won or not. We're one of the 3 in the category of disruptive banking innovation. And what we see, and this is as well something that kind of proves that we are on the right spot, is that we have already some first follower around. So what you see is that, for example, Sparkassen in Germany are already starting offering this, and we see some technical providers like Monetize to go in cooperations with Blackhawk, which would be one of the integrator, or to see the most innovative bank in the world, La Caixa, starting with the same kind of service. With this, I would like to complete my presentation and to give over to Jelmer. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Amir. I think this is a great insight in the disruption and the innovation that's taking place in PostFinance. Thank you very much for that. Before we move to the part by Jouk Pleiter about empowering disruption in banking, I want to remind everyone that you can use the panel to ask questions, so the GoToWebinar control panel, to ask your questions. If you have any questions for Amir, and during this webinar, so in about 15 minutes, we will go to the Q&A, so Amir can also answer your questions. And of course, the slides and recording will be shared 48 hours after the webinar. Jouk, the floor is yours.
Yeah, great. Jelmer, let's talk a little bit about disruption in banking. And I guess what was really great about Amir's story is how do you basically change the mindset in the bank to really dare to make innovative steps like that. And if we look outside of the window, I think the next 3 to 4 years are going to be extremely exciting if you are in banking and in payments. There's a lot of disruption going on, and there's many strong signs that the industry will go through a pretty significant transformation. What you see here on the screen is that new players directly from Silicon Valley are entering the game. PayPal, Apple, Google. So it's very interesting to see how this game is going to evolve, how they will continue to partner with the banks, but also how they will start potentially to compete with the banks. So very interesting, lots of dynamics and massive players with critical mass changing the game, and literally new entrants in the market. Another set of disruption we see is basically innovative players that are companies that just launched a couple of years ago. They are, I remember Finovate, where Lending Club was presenting. It's only a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, I believe, and now they're ready to do an IPO, and their market cap is already estimated between 4 to 5 billion US dollars. Just a little startup doing something with peer-to-peer lending. And we'll see more of this. So very interesting to see that the incumbent players are really significantly challenged by new innovative business concepts. But also the banks themselves are innovating. I think Amir shared with us a very thorough, nice story where you basically see that this bank is already on a journey for a couple of years to really think out of the box, and part of that out of the box thinking is basically how do we change the mindset, how do we kind of get a real insight in, like Apple already stated, think different and enhance the digital banking experience and actually capitalize on the huge user base the banking industry already has, and to capitalize on the payment rails that are already in place. A final disruption is basically the way people are interacting with the bank. What you see here is a forecast by 2016 how an average customer will interact with the bank, and the trends are pretty clear. The use of the brick and mortar world will decline, so utilization of the branch is still there, but will be a significantly smaller part of the overall interaction pattern. And the vast majority of all these interactions will be fully digital, with of course the mobile device leading it, with touch points as high as 20 to 30 times per month. So what does this mean? We believe that all these different incentives in the market, with Silicon Valley entering, with new startups that are suddenly multi-billion-dollar companies, that it is essential for every bank from medium, small to large to think about digital transformation. And especially to the executive team and to the board, in the end of the day, this is not just about innovation. This, in the end of the day, is about survival, creating and maintaining a sustainable market position. And as you can see here in this research from McKinsey, which has been published by EFMA in 2012, banks that successfully execute their digital transformation and really embrace the digital world can reduce their cost-income ratio from 46% to 40, from 64% to 46%. So a very significant reduction in the cost-income ratio of the bank. This is huge if you can improve that with 14% points. So how do we do digital transformation? And Jelmer and I will talk a little bit about what can banks do. The first thing to explain here is that Backbase is a company that helps banks around the world to make that digital transformation. And we help them to create, manage, and optimize their digital omnichannel future. So by interacting with our clients, basically we see the first thing that is really needed is a paradigm shift. The paradigm shift from the past was very product-centric. We have products, we have savings products, loans, credit cards, wealth management. They're typically organized in silos, and we basically push our information and our products to the end customer. We call this the inside-out approach. So we push it from the inside, from the bank, to the outside world. Other people call it web or mobile enablement. Let's run this in a web browser. Let's run this on a mobile device. What is critical to do through digital transformation is to take a paradigm shift, to take a 180-degree change in perspective, to forget about products, to forget about systems, but just look at the end customer. So start with the end customer and take an outside-in approach. I think the example of Amir is a perfect example of outside-in thinking. How can we make things easier for our end customer? How can we utilize our underlying technology and payment infrastructure to make impact of the life of our end customers outside just the traditional payment stuff? So those are nice examples of outside-in thinking, and outside-in thinking is all about how do we streamline the digital customer journey, and at the same time, how do we connect that digital reality to our underlying systems? So how do we wire that digital reality to the underlying core systems? Another thing with this approach, what is really critical, is to decouple this digital world from the legacy systems. There's a simple reason for this. These legacy systems typically have the capability of change and the change frequency, so the change heartbeat is low. It's very difficult, it's expensive to make innovation there. So by introducing a new digital presentation layer that covers kiosk, websites, tablets, smartphones, so basically anything with a screen is in that customer experience layer. Now you have the flexibility to innovate faster and to basically to start to compete at the innovation speed you would have in a Silicon Valley startup, or which you would expect from innovative companies like Google, Apple, etc. So that is kind of critical. If you want to innovate, you need to have a model in place that enables you to be more agile and that gives you more flexibility and freedom to truly innovate. So a customer experience layer is something that will enable you to do so. How does that look like? So what you can see here is the vision is that basically what we need is a platform that will help us to kind of create cool functional apps for our end customers. Those could be banking apps, they can be non-banking apps. We have ultimate flexibility there. And below the surface, we need to kind of connect this new graphical user interface to whatever system we have. And that could be our core banking system, but it also could be Apple and the iTunes API to work with capacity over there, or an intermediate system integrator that provides services to enable such a scenario. But the end goal is to have a seamless customer journey, empowering the end customer on any device, regardless of the size of the device, and below the surface, connecting this to the right backend systems inside the bank, but also outside the bank. The key mechanism to do this is a concept we call widgets or tiles. Tiles are getting more and more popular with mobile banking applications. They are basically little cards, and they can contain data from any backend system. So in this widget, you can run your banking capabilities, your CRM capabilities. In the case of PostFinance, your iTunes gift card capabilities. So now you have the flexibility and the freedom to mix and match content, data, and functionality from any source on this planet, inside the bank and outside the bank, and you can use these ingredients to create a compelling customer experience. PostFinance is one of our customers, and today we just highlighted this single unique digital e-commerce type of innovation Amir and the team pulled off. But basically, PostFinance is on a journey where they completely transform their digital channel. And now let me just try to give you a little presentation of how they do that. So what you basically see, I'll show you a quick movie here, and I hope you can see it.
Clearer and faster to use. You can find the most important features directly on the home page, like overview of assets, domestic payments, or account transfer. The tiles allow you to make payments more quickly. For example, you can enter payment information for domestic payments directly in the tile, or even approve e-bills straight away. Tiles are sorted by headings: home, assets, transfer, collect, offers, e-cockpit, e-trading. We have focused particularly on improving readability. Everything is reduced to the essentials with larger type and more white space. It was also important to us that e-Finance be flexible. The new tiles work in the same way on both desktop and mobile devices. We can offer you help with using e-Finance at any time. There are tips and pointers on every tile. More help can be found at the top of the page. PostFinance, surpassing support.
All right. So what is the takeaway from this overview? I think what you've seen here is that here you see these little tiles. Here you see the widgets that we've been discussing. And in this case, what is unique with this kind of new approach is that now within these tiles, we can combine functionality from any backend system. So suddenly now retail banking capabilities are combined with e-trading and wealth management capabilities. Prior to Backbase and prior to this approach, these were separate systems with their own login, with different branding. So a completely broken customer experience, different UX, different login procedures. And now with this kind of widget approach in the centralized customer experience platform, it is a seamless single platform that can be reused, these widgets, across any device on any screen. Of course, you can also see this whole e-gift card kind of model being one of these widgets running inside this type of environment. So what is important to remember here is that if we go one step deeper, is that with this kind of tile or widget approach, we now can actually connect to any backend source. So within this customer experience platform, you have advanced integration engines that can help you to get any data and any functionality out of any backend system, from legacy systems to modern systems, from systems inside the bank and outside the bank. Of course, the platform needs to do a little bit more, because next to this kind of application and transaction logic, you need content. So how do we manage content in a single location, and how can we reuse content across any device and have a consistent message across all channels? How can we also, as a third element, understand who is the customer, what is their behavior, what are their entitlements, what are their preferences, and utilize all these different data points to optimize and personalize the customer experience in something that is relevant to the end user. So a tailor-made, personal and relevant type of experience. And because everything is digital, you can customize these widgets. You can enable the end customer. In this case, if I would go here back to the example, for instance, we can say if we log in, we can enable the end user to basically create their own dashboard. We can say, okay, these are the default tiles that are available, but if you would like to change the sequence, or if you would like to remove some of these tiles, that is totally flexible. So with the widget approach, you can track the customer behavior, but you can also empower them to tailor the customer experience to their own unique needs. And of course, finally, we need to make sure that everything is 100% safe, reliable, and fully compliant with regulations from the central bank. So the Backbase platform will enable you to kind of enforce a solid security strategy across any device and any channel. The final thoughts here is that with these widgets, you have the flexibility and the freedom to innovate. The stuff you can run in these cards and these widgets is basically up to your own imagination. And we see a lot of innovation going on with our clients, where baseline they first focus on the let's say the basic banking capabilities, but quickly they go beyond and they can make any type of combination, including retail scenarios and e-commerce scenarios we just have seen from Amir. So a little bit kind of a wrap up about Backbase. Backbase is a software company. We have a complete digital banking solution that is completely designed around the needs of digital disruption. It is completely based on modern technology. It is omni-channel ready, and it can integrate into any backend. Here you see the vision. Let me start at the bottom. At the bottom, you have your existing systems. At the bottom, you have industry partners, innovators, people like PayPal, Google, Dwolla, LendingTree, whatever is out there. And via the Backbase platform, you can connect into both your existing systems as well as into these capabilities provided by these innovation partners. Then we have all the capabilities to enable you to streamline these customer journeys across any device. So security, targeting, personalization, integration, notification, alerting, basically all the core engines that enable you to orchestrate and streamline cross-device journeys. And then, of course, finally, the presentation logic to run this on smartphones as native apps, to run this on tablets, and of course, to run this in traditional websites. So a single platform to master any screen, any device. What is also nice with this kind of approach, we've seen a lot of innovation in the last 5 years, so we're able to kind of industrialize some of these insights and these patterns. So as part of Backbase Engage, we have pre-built out-of-the-box solutions for retail banking, commercial banking, and wealth management. And basically you can see them as a collection of pre-built widgets, pre-built connectors that can help you to jumpstart your initiative. Of course, you can customize them, you can apply your own branding, you can integrate into any existing backend system, and of course, most importantly, you can continue to innovate by adding additional capabilities and creating new widgets. So there's a solution for retail banking, commercial banking, and wealth management. And if you're interested, we can connect with you later on if there's any kind of interest on your end. Final thing, we just launched at Finovate Fall in New York a couple of weeks ago, this concept of the open banking marketplace, which now makes it possible for all these different fintech players, new, smaller, or kind of startup companies that have new, innovative type of products, to create their capability and expose them as widgets, which can now directly be integrated into your digital banking experience. So with this initiative, we try to create an industry platform where innovators, medium to large banks, can really actually come together and kind of create new meaningful combinations. What is nice about this app store is also that it enables you to get faster time to market. So you can actually quickly learn, you can try some innovations, you can see the impact in your banking environment and in your regional market, and if the experiment is successful, you can continue to build up on that, and you can try new stuff as well. Final wrap up, Backbase is trusted and used by 50 major large financials around the world, from North America to Europe to the Middle East and Asia Pacific. We are recognized by Gartner as one of the most visionary vendors in the customer experience layer market or the portal market. And recently, Ovum has announced Backbase to be one of the market leaders in the market for next generation digital banking channel platforms. So with that, let's move to the QA. I hope you guys have lots of questions for especially Amir. And Amir, thank you. I would like to thank you again for sharing these insights. I think they are extremely valuable. I think it was also very nice to see how you had to basically transform the banking culture and how you had to take several internal stakeholders into this journey. So, Jammer, let's open the Q&A.
Yes, thank you, Jouk. So we already have quite a lot of questions coming in. If you have a question for either Amir or Jouk, use the GoToWebinar control panel to ask your question, or use the hashtag Backbase on Twitter, and I'll make sure to monitor that as well. And indeed, Amir, the questions are pouring in. Everybody is quite excited about the new business model actually you shared for banks. And one of the first questions is actually about reaching new target audiences. We see a lot of banks struggling, and we see that also reflected in the questions, to reaching the millennials and the Generation Y, the so-called segments, and especially the unbanked segments in North America. And it seems that you kind of solved that with your product. Was that also, when you launched it, one of the main reasons for launching it?
Actually, we. Oops, I have a hole. I think we are already pretty active in different segments. As number one in the player in the payment services in Switzerland, actually we are happy to say that we really we have different range of customers with different needs, and what we just try always to manage is to really to find these latent needs of our, let's say, as well, lower segment customers, and to satisfy them. I think one example is our position in the youth marketing. We've been investing in youth marketing for last, I would say, 20 years. I think if you ask someone which is in my age to can he remember our campaigns which were running in 90s, I think the probability is very high that they will say, oh yeah, I remember this campaign with the ears, or with the EasyJet, and so on and so on. So it's actually not only about digital, it's actually about how you approach the customers. But if you listen carefully, you will find, what are these latent needs, and you have to be as well to have the culture of innovation within the company, then to satisfy those needs pretty quickly.
Yes, and also at the same time, you find a way to monetize mobile. If I look at the questions here, most banks see mobile more as a service channel, not really as a revenue channel, but actually PostFinance turned it around and turned mobile into a revenue channel. Can you share a bit where that revenue is coming from?
Yeah, I think in 2010 we already discussed this this model of Forrester, I think, where they showed the different stages of mobile, and the first one is you just try out something, then you try lots of things out, and then you have to find a way how really to monetize this, and then you're kind of mobile champion. When we started with mobile pretty early, in running first pilots in 2005 together with McDonald's, at that time not on QR code but on the barcode. And I think this experience and the capability to keep this knowledge within the company brought us in the position a few years later to monetize on mobile.
Yeah, it's a nice trigger. Next to mobile, there's also that whole trend about omni-channel. And you shared in your presentation that indeed the mobile app is of course the key cornerstone, but you want not only to target the mobile app users, but also via ATM and SMS, the total target audience, so to say. Is omni-channel really something that's now part of your strategy, or did it happen because the customer was there already?
Well, to be very honest, actually, we start with the customer. So my first interest as a merchant in this role is to extend the potential of the customers who will be able to purchase this gift card. But then if you want to do the things right, then you have to start talking about omnichannel. So talking about omnichannel without exact need or understanding why you need it, I think it's a wrong approach. But if you start with a need, then you will end somewhere in this area.
Yeah, totally. And of course, yeah, we get also a few questions about widgets and how they run on mobile. Are they cross-platform? Do they work in omni-channel setting? Can you collaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, I think the first thing important is to understand that these widgets are completely based on open standards. So there's nothing specific to Backbase. They use JavaScript, frameworks like Angular, Bootstrap, HTML, CSS. So all technology that is in the open domain, and there are millions of developers out there. So that's the great thing about widgets. They are based on open standards, and any developer with any developer tooling can work with them. Backbase provides a framework to control these widgets and to orchestrate them to the right people and to the right end user. So next to that, we offer a mobile SDK that enables you to kind of make hybrid applications and to create optimized experiences for iOS, for Android, and for Windows. So basically, via the SDK, you have access to the underlying mobile operating system, like camera, GPS, basically anything that is provided by the mobile operating system. It provides you a local cache. It provides you enhanced security mechanisms for multi-step and step-up type of security, multi-factor authentication, etc. All these capabilities are part of the SDK, and with that, you can now wrap these HTML5 widgets directly into a native environment and make applications that are extremely fast and reliable. So that's roughly how you kind of deploy widgets based on open standards to any device. What is also important, the widgets are based on a concept called responsive design. So they will adjust themselves to the amount of screen estate. So on a large screen, you will have a 3-column layout. On a single small screen, a smartphone, you will have a single layout. So those are roughly the techniques. They are very much based on responsive design, HTML5, and a native mobile SDK to integrate very deeply into multiple mobile operating systems. What is different and what is unique, I think what you really have here is a single platform with a write once, run everywhere approach. So you can really kind of centralize your efforts. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And the delivery model is way more cost efficient. That's one major benefit. Instead of having multiple developer teams, so a web team, an iOS team, an Android team, now you have a single development team, which is way more cost efficient. And secondly, Backbase also has a visual editor enabling marketing people to run campaigns across any device. So you can create and change content. You can create targeting rules. You can run cross and upsell campaigns. And the great thing is you can do this without programming, and they run on any device. So you now have content management and email and e-marketing capabilities directly in your mobile application. That's another major difference.
Right. The final few questions before we wrap up our webinar. Jouk also shared a bit in this presentation, of course, Apple Pay or iPay. Amir, do you see that as a threat to your current model or just as an accelerator?
Well, we don't know what the future will bring. I think I'm coming from the area of mobile payments, mobile financial services, and I'm really happy to see that there is a player in the market that succeeded to provide a solution which has this customer experience and simplifies a few steps in the process. So it will help all the players in the market. And what the good thing about this solution as well, it tries to integrate different players around the ecosystem. Still, being an issuer bank, you have to think carefully what will be your role and your customer interface in the future with Apple Pay. So this is something that is still open.
Yeah, and I think if you talk about new entrants, especially banks that now want to enter, a fast time to market is essential. You shared that your concept went live in 3 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Jouk, if you look at the widgets and implementing, banks has old backend systems, we can upgrade them with widgets. What's the time to market in a project like that?
Yeah, there's a few questions here in the Q&A console. So one of the questions, if you have a lot of old backend systems which are you want to digitalize, what is the average implementation time? I think the realistic answer is between 6 and 12 months, and it really depends on the implementation scenario and the integration patterns required. But with that, you have a full digital transformation that will run on any device. So you're not just doing your website, you're basically in one go, you implement a full omni-channel digital presentation layer. The second thing, to accelerate it a little bit, to get closer to the 6 months type of scenario, Backbase offers a lot of pre-built components like pre-built widgets and connectors, and also with the open marketplace, there are already a lot of pre-built components that can actually accelerate time to market with new feature sets. And finally, next year we're about to launch a fully based hosted platform where all these components are already pre-configured, ready to go. So in that case, it will further reduce implementation time, but it will also further industrialize the whole management and operations of a disruptive bank in the cloud. And the key thing what you need to do is you need to connect to your supply partners for the backend capabilities, and you need to connect it to your core banking system. So I guess hopefully those kind of gives you a few ideas. So if you have to do it completely custom from scratch, I would say 12 months. If you use some of the accelerators, and even if you use the cloud platform and the partner ecosystem, closer to 6.
So Amir did really a great job with his bank and his team.
I'm for this component, I think it's awesome, absolutely, and I think it's also smart to have that intermediate system integrator where you basically have a digital stock of these gift cards, and you can basically utilize that, and you can upload the integrator catalog. Yeah, it's awesome. It's very impressive.
Great. So we're almost at the hour. So Amir, I want to ask you the final question. I think we have a lot of bankers in the audience. We're here tonight with almost 800 people, so that's a great turnout. And I think the question on most people's minds, if I want to change something in my own bank, if I want to change something in my own organization, if we want to embark on this journey of innovation and disruption, where do I start and what do I need to change? Can you share your best practice or your number one tip you want to give away as final thought to the audience?
Mm-hmm. I see many companies trying to do innovation by kind of making a huge step ahead and believing that they are not, they don't need to understand the old world to make a better solution for the new world. My approach or my tip is that if you wanna make great improvements, you have to first understand what's your starting point to connect the dots, to be really kind of a hard worker and not only expecting a lucky punch with the innovation. And this will, after a certain time, will bring great results. And you have to have this kind of a small team, a nucleus of people who thinks the same. And that has nothing to do with the official organization. This is very unofficial. But this nucleus is very important in my daily work to bring out great innovation for PostFinance.
Thank you for that. Jouk, I believe you had one final question.
Yeah, I have one final question for Amir. I saw you guys are in the finalists for BAI. Is there a way for the audience to vote for you?
I don't think so. Actually, I have no idea, but I think there are some judges there. So if you know them, do influence them.
Okay, people, if you like what you've seen here with innovation and at PostFinance and you want to cheer for Amir and the team, maybe you give them some love on Twitter, so that would be very much appreciated. Thank you all.
Thanks, Amir, for your great sharing, great keynote, and thanks everyone for attending. I will make sure that everyone receives the slide and recording within 48 hours, and wish you a pleasant continuation of your day.
Jelmer, our next webinar is in 3 to 4 weeks?
3 to 4 weeks, and I will make sure everybody receives an invitation for that one as well.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.